point Stewie made that offensive rebound score, you put your hands up.
Yeah, because Jose looked over at me like, the hell's that? I said, I have no idea. I said, your guess is as good as mine. You know, when Stewie starts doing stuff like that, all you can do is just shake your head and go, you know, it is what it is.
Did you sense at halftime she was ready for this?
You know, she struggled the last couple of days, the last 2 games, making shots that she normally makes, you know, and I think she was, thanks, Patrick. I think she was pressing a little bit, you know, trying too hard. I mean, these guys are pretty prideful, you know, they've won a lot of games. So when things don't go their way, they get a little bit like they want to try harder. And sometimes trying harder doesn't really get it done. So we changed a couple of things at halftime, stuff that we wanted to run that would slow it down a little bit for us and get us into a much better rhythm and give her the ball in certain spots. And we just kept going back to it and back to it and back to it and let her and Tuck be the playmakers. And they were great. And Kia Nurse came out. You know, we had a little chat at halftime, and I said it in Canadian.
How important is that zone defense?
We're a worst zone team in America. That's why we don't play it very often. So when we went to it, I knew that it's so bad, and sometimes we run around in it that I'm confused, and it confused them too. And that's kind of what happened. You know, you saw. I mean, they just run a lot of great stuff to get Courtney open. And I was saying earlier today, you can't. We did a pretty good job on her in the second half. I mean, the third quarter we did a great job on her. You know, I don't think she scored in the third quarter, but that's hard to do. You know, one person can't guard her. She just gets the ball and goes where she wants to go, and then scores. And a lot of times, you know, she was guarded, so we figured let's give them a different look, change the way they see it, let them change what they have to do to attack it, and let's get them out of their comfort zone, because they were pretty comfortable that first half. And you know, our defense was pretty good in the first half too. I don't know, how many points they scored? First half. How many? 25. I mean, you give up 25 points. Yeah, you give up 25 points to a really good team like that. Yeah, you feel like, yeah, we did a pretty good job defensively, you know. But our offense was just holding us back. So we made a couple small changes, and it worked great.
The playing game and this, you had about a game and a half where you just didn't get the ball inside. Was that the point? Just like halftime. Let's go back to being a strong inside team and get Stewie and Morgan to just kind of take this thing over.
Well, you know, one of the things that South Florida does really, really good is they really do a great job of packing it inside. They are really good at rotating over. That's why we had so many offensive foul calls. You know, they're really good at getting to the spots they have to get to. And there's a small window when you can get the ball inside. And if you don't find that window, it closes because they bring so much help. And now you're stuck shooting jump shots all the time. So we changed some of our cuts and some of the ways that we moved in the second half. And it gave us a little bigger window. And we found it. And that was that.
We're talking all year to have USF in this conference to challenge you as you head into the NCAA tournament.
Well, this has been going on for a while now, where they've been building that thing for a while. They're so confident right now. They're familiar with us in our league. They know us and we know them, and they've got a couple really good players that are graduating. So do we. But that doesn't mean, you know, they're going anywhere, and doesn't mean we're going anywhere. Right now, you know, I think Temple is close, but right now it's South Florida and us are the two that at this time are at a little bit different level than the rest of the league. And, I'm hoping that next year, the year after, there's a couple more teams that are like that, but they're not going away. He's a great coach, does a great job.
With the way you guys had a battle tonight for long stretches, it's a good game to go into the postseason off of.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we've got a nice break between now and Saturday, their players knew that it was going to be like this. I don't think anybody thought that we were going to come out here and run out to a 25-point lead at halftime and coast in. No, nobody on our team expected to do that. So it is good. It is good. And it forced us to do some things that I think are going to come in handy next weekend and in the other tournament as well. Kia Nurse hasn't been shooting the ball very well. So for her to do what she did gives her a different mindset, I hope, going into the weekend, and hopefully she can build on that. And it was good for our young players to be in this kind of a game because they haven't been in this kind of a game since, the South Carolina game.
Do you need Kia to score 15 points a game to be successful in 3 or 4 years?
Well, I know one thing. We don't really need Stewie to be taking 25 shots, but if that's what it's going to take, that's what we're going to do. I'd rather not. I'd rather everybody else get a lot of really good opportunities. And today it seemed like we did. We had 10 shots, 25, 10, 11. We just didn't make them. But if we can get all 5 of our starters to be somewhere between 10 and Stewie's 20, anywhere. So you get a couple of them are going to jump up there and get it on any given night. But, Kia played really well in the NCAA tournament last year. And she needs to play really well this year, and she needs to make open shots because she's going to get a bunch of them. Because if you're playing against us and you're putting together a scouting report and you say, okay, we're going to double Stewie or we're going to double Tuck or whatever, we're not going to play off a Lou and ba-da-ba-da-ba, and you say, well, who do we leave open then? Well, we're going to leave Kia Nurse open, which is good. And she needs to take that challenge and knock them in, which she did.
Her numbers are somewhat staggering when you look at her unranked opponents shooting and her against ranked opponents. She shoot like 25% from 3 against unranked teams, like 50 against ranked. I know it's, is that just the competitor in her, or is that something?
It might be. Or it might be because every time down the floor we run a play for somebody else and she starts to figure out they don't trust me. So then she knocks a couple in so that we have to go to her. I thought Mo did a great job finding her a couple times. And we all did, actually. And I was really proud of the fact that after she missed the one, she came right back on a loose ball and we kicked it out there and she made the next one. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Geno, what do you know of Dave Benedict, and what do you think of the hire today?
I don't really know much at all. I'm kind of like you guys. I found out about it obviously today, and got the rundown. So I'm really not that familiar, other than what his bio says and the places that he's been and the people that he's worked with. He's got a tough job. He's obviously got a lot of experience at a lot of different places, which is good. I think when you've been in a lot of different places and you've seen a lot of different ways to do it, I think that's good. I think that's really good. And I trust the people that are making those decisions. the last AD we hired, guy walked in my office and said, "Hi, I'm Ward Manuel. I'm the new AD." I said, "Hey, nice to meet you." So that's kind of how that went, and that worked out fairly decently.
Geno, when you played at such a high level all season, how do you because you guys do this, you turn it up, in the league tournament and then the NCAA tournament. How do you do that? How do you use this next week to take care of that?
Back in the day, we used to say there's regular season Shea Ralph, and then there's tournament Shea. And those were two different things. And we like to think that our team is the same way, that there's our regular season team, and then there's our tournament team. And they're not the same, generally speaking. And I think you have to have a team that can get you through the regular season and put you in a position to be a top seed. But then you have to have a team that's capable of winning the tournament. And I think we do, obviously. But everything changes at this time of the year for us. Practices change, focus changes, the intensity level changes, our mindset changes. And actually that was one of the things we talked about at halftime, that these are the things that separate us from other teams. And we came out in that third quarter. We were amazing in that third quarter, and that's what we're going to need in the tournament next weekend and in the NCAA tournament. There's no guarantees that anybody is going to win this tournament. When it's one and done, all you need is one bad night in either tournament, first one or second one. But I like the fact that up to this point, generally speaking, when we have to play great, we do. That's like guys selling you stocks, right? Past performance is no indication of future performance. So just because we've done it doesn't mean we're going to do it again, but I like our chances.
Anybody else?
Does it strike you? Katie was only a freshman, but it seemed like when she was out of the game because of fouls, your team looks totally different. Does it strike you how quickly that's happening with her?
Yeah, there's different things that happen. She didn't shoot the ball great today, and once again she tied her career high with rebounds. I think she got one. So she's got to do more, and she knows that. I think what I said earlier. I think when you're somebody like Lou, and all of a sudden here's a game, it's the end of the season, we're playing the next best team in the league. She played lousy down in South Florida, and now she wants to play great, and she's pressing a little bit. So, fouled the 3-point shooter a couple of times, and she got smacked in the face really good at one possession, and a lot of things happened to her today that are good for her. She needs that, and she also made a couple really, really good plays, but the game has changed over the years, I remember in 1988, 89, and 89, 90, and 90, 91, we didn't have a center, and we just played with guys who shot threes. And the threat of them shooting it was enough to beat most teams. So when you have Lou over here, and then Stewie over here, and then Kia over here, and Mo over here, just the threat that we're going to shoot it makes everybody have to guard everybody. And by having Lou out there, there's always somebody that has to guard her. So that's one less person in the lane, whether she makes them or not. Plus, she's getting more comfortable, and she'll play great next weekend. I predict it.